Hi, everybody. Oh my word, I'm so far behind when it comes to this channel. What an embarrassment, really. But I'm here now, and let's see whether I can do better. Okay, today we are sticking to the royals and crimes committed in and around or linked, or even if just remotely, to the British royal family. How many of you have heard of William Arnold Coombs? I'm sure some have, but not many, because I remembered the story about William Coombs from years ago. Yet when I Googled it to do some homework, I really had a hard time finding much about him lately. So, in all honesty, unless I'm raving mad or delusional, it appears as if a lot has been scrubbed off the internet when it comes to this particular story. But I'm going to tell you what I remember and add to it the little I could still find. Now, firstly, I have seen 3 different spellings of his surname. And before I even start to tell the actual story, I want to tell you why I think his surname is spelt 3 different ways. I believe it is purposefully done so that we are more inclined to believe that the entire sordid story is nothing more than a conspiracy theory, a work of fiction maybe. But wait, I should not get ahead of myself. Let me start somewhere and build the story out of the bits and pieces I could still find. Now, whether William Coombs' surname is spelled Coombs or Coombes or Combes does not really matter, because if you look hard enough, there are still people around to support large chunks of William's story. So William Coombs was a survivor of the Kamloops residential school. He spoke publicly about the abuses he suffered and witnessed, especially at the hands of a brother Murphy. And yes, I found the transcript of his full testimony, and I'll flash it on the screen. Unfortunately, because of its nature, I cannot show or read all of it out, but you can pause the video and read it yourself. But it was not William Coombs's testimony about his abuse which put him in the crosshairs, but another story he told, again starting with the torture inflicted by Murphy, but without the sexual content. So this was the account William Coombs made in 2008. I am an interior Salish spirit dancer and am 58 years old. I live in Vancouver, Canada. I am a survivor of the Kamloops and Mission Indian Residential School, both run by the Roman Catholic Church. I suffered terrible tortures there at the hands especially of Brother Murphy, who killed at least 2 children. I witnessed him throwing a child off a 3-story balcony to her death. He put me on a rack and broke some of my bones in the Kamloops school basement after I tried running away. I also saw him and another priest burying a child in the school orchard one night. Now here comes the part William Coombs got in trouble and harassed for. In October 1964, when I was 12 years old, I was an inmate at the Kamloops school, and we were visited by the Queen of England and Prince Philip. I remember it was strange because they came by themselves, no big fanfare or nothing. But I recognized them, and the school principal told us it was the Queen, and we all got given new clothes and good food for the first time in months the day before she arrived. The day the Queen got to the school, I was part of a group of children, kids, that went on a picnic with her and her husband and some priests down to a meadow near Dead Man's Creek. I remember it was weird because we all had to bend down and kiss her foot, a white laced boot. After a while, I saw the Queen leave the picnic with 10 children from the school, and those kids never returned. We never heard anything more about them and never met them again, even when we were older. They were all from around here, but they all vanished. The group that disappeared was 7 boys and 3 girls in age from 6 to 14 years old. They were all from the smart group in the class. 2 of the boys were brothers, and they were Metis from Quesnel. Their last name was Arnoos or Arnold. I don't remember the others, just the occasional first name like Cecilia, and then there was an Edward. What happened was also witnessed by my friend George Adolph, who was 11 years old at the time and a student there too, but he's dead now. Now, that is where William Coombs' statement ends, or at least this particular statement. Unfortunately, William Coombs is dead too. William Coombs was scheduled to be a primary witness at the opening session of the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State on September the 12th, 2011 in London, England, but he died in a Vancouver hospital in February 2011 at the age of 59. William's official cause of death was tuberculosis, but his nurse testified she believed that he was poisoned. She states that there was no evidence of tuberculosis and that he was never treated for TB. She said that she saw instead evidence of poisoning, likely arsenic poisoning. She said that he had hyperkeratosis, which is a thickening of the skin, that his urine was dark and smelly, that he had suffered some delirium, particularly at certain times of the day, and had abdominal pain. Yet he did not receive an IV either to hydrate him or to administer medication. Anyway, I would like you to, if you're interested, to go listen to the nurse's experience firsthand, and you can get that in a video titled Eyewitness to Medical Murder of William Coombs. In May 2021, the Kamloops de Schwapum First Nation released the preliminary findings of its investigation, saying that at least 215 unmarked graves were found at Kamloops. When William Coombs and others made their public statements in 2008, there were a lot of skepticism, but in 2021 his account and that of the others were finally vindicated and proven to likely be true. As you will know, investigations and archaeological investigations are still ongoing. Unfortunately, William Coombs is not around anymore to actually see it. My point is, however, that as much as the survivors' accounts are now taken seriously and investigated, perhaps so should the death of William Coombs. Just a side note, the International Tribunal into Crime of Church and State has since also been discredited and reduced to a website only, of which the owner has now been reduced to a conspiracy theorist. The Human Rights Commission has, however, been briefed, and certain entities like the Catholic Church and the Canadian government have made certain reparations after hosting a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. As for the British monarchy, well, Charles planted and built a remembrance and peace garden. Okay, enough said. May William Coombs and all these children rest in peace. After all, Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." There you go, my friends. That's the story of William Coombs. I'm sure there's still a heck of a lot to the story and to his life. And one day when I have time, I will sit down and see whether there's anything else I can find with regards to him and his friends and their life since Kamloops. For now, I want you to please take care of yourselves until we meet again on the next one. Bye.